So this time I want to speak about self-love. We often are a little bit confused about self-love, so it's quite a good subject to get a little bit clearer about, I feel. Perhaps we start thinking about self-love because we feel in some way not lovable, that there's something fundamentally wrong with me and I'm not worthy or in some way not lovable. But then we're told, or we think it's a good idea for whatever reason, to start loving ourselves. Now, I remember for myself when I was probably a teenager or a young adult, and I felt very unworthy and insecure and was very hard on myself. And people said things like that to me. You just should love yourself a bit more. And I know they meant well, of course. But at the time, I remember trying to do that. And when I tried to do that, I just didn't know who to love and how. So, who is in here to love, right? And then what does it mean even to love myself? How to do that? If I if it was possible or if I could do it, I would have done it, right? I wouldn't be wallowing in feeling so bad about myself. So this just confused me. And I feel that this perhaps is a confusion that many people have. And perhaps we try to love myself by believing that I am me, I am some kind of person, maybe all the negative qualities that we've been believing in. So then we try to change those negative qualities into positive qualities or lovable qualities by just telling ourselves that those negative things are not true and that in fact we are much more lovable than we have believed. And maybe this works to some extent temporarily. It's basically changing negative thoughts to positive thoughts. And every time we try to do that, we have to remember to make that effort to change the negative thoughts into positive thoughts. And of course, positive thoughts will be more pleasant and happier and better to have than negative thoughts. But it still doesn't really get to the root of the issue. And the issue is who? Who who is here? Because when I try to love myself, right? I've got two. Me and myself. And who are either of those? So the me that is trying to love the myself, the me is a thought that is trying to help, right? It's trying it has a good intention, right? It's trying to make things better, to take the pain of feeling so insecure or unlovable and bad. It's trying to take the pain away and make it better. It's a kind of protective mechanism. But essentially we can just call it a thought. The thought, me, I'm in control, I can do something to change my reality. And I'm trying to change myself. Who's that? Another thought, right? Because when we really try to find who am I in here, right? Or there, what do we find? You know, we can ask ourselves the age-old question, who am I? And the thinking will come up with a million different possible answers. Being all kinds of types of person, or with all kinds of different qualities, with different history, different ideas for the future, different sensations in the body, different feelings, emotions. But who do they belong to? Who is here? Who can be loved or can be anything? And when we don't refer to any of those thoughts, any of those ideas about a me, then there is simply the question. And no answer, really, because any answer would be another thought. There's no answer. It's just this space. Even that is too much of an answer, right? It's not even silence. It's even beyond the word silence or even the experience of silence. As soon as we put a label on it, it's not that. So the bottom line is that there's no one here to love. So this is why this is very confusing, to try to love myself, and yet there's no self here. And there's no one to even try to do that in the first place. So then what is true self-love? Well, after being so very confused for so many years about this question myself, I'm very happy to say that none of that effort of trying to love myself is necessary. That actually true self-love is, first of all, in recognizing that there is no one here, and that that is not a problem. That's not a gap to be filled. It doesn't mean something negative. Just because there's no one here, it doesn't mean that that no one is somehow worthless. It's not even full of worth. It's empty. It's empty and full of what is, whatever is now. So if what is sitting here feeling a little tingling sensation in the chest, looking, sounds, breath, sensation of sitting on the chair, sensation of swallowing. This is what is right now. Meeting what is, whatever it is. Meeting what is moment to moment as it changes moment to moment. Knowing that it couldn't be any other way. It shouldn't be any other way. It is exactly as it must be, because it is. This is true self-love. Not moving 1 inch away from this right now. And away would be believing in those me stories again. Although if those happen, they are also included. It's not that those thought stories are wrong. We can even love those thought stories, or in other words, meet them as they are. Because when we meet them as they are, we acknowledge that they're just thoughts. they're not really me. There's no separate me thinking those thoughts. It's just a thought popping up, popping up, popping up. In who I am as love, love itself, love that loves itself always, no matter what. So no effort to try to love myself is needed. In fact, it's the opposite. It's seeing where I am making effort to be someone, noticing that, feeling the sensation in the body. How does it feel when I am trying really hard to be someone or trying to even love myself? There's a sensation of tension and contraction, or however it is for you. When there's this effort to try to be someone or to love myself. So we just notice that sensation of effort. And that is met too, that is loved too, because loving myself is simply meeting myself, noticing whatever is here as myself in this moment. Even if it's an uncomfortable experience, I meet it. It is also included. There are no exceptions in love. So this is true self-love.